Hey everyone, just at work today. Glorious day again. Blue skies, quite really warm for this time of year. I thought I would just do a video do a part 2 to my family's involvement with alcohol. My previous one was losing my mum, and this one was when I lost my brother to alcoholism as well. And it was kind of a shock. I didn't see it coming. I knew he was very unwell, but I didn't think he would die. It was in 2011, and he was only 25. And I think because he was so young, that's what made me feel like he wasn't going to die. Just like speaking about my mum, talking about it now feels kind of weird. Like it didn't happen, or it happened in some other life. But here we are. Lou was never a massive drinker when he was younger. He actually didn't like drinking, which is quite strange when you think about how he actually went. Started to party like me in our early teens, very early teens, having a few drinks at house parties and going out with his mates, but no drinking during the week. Guess we were at school and stuff like that during the week, so. But like me as well, somewhere along the line, it went from just having fun to something a lot darker. And you could see that it was getting way out of control. It was kind of in line with me as well, though. So as his brother, I kind of didn't see it. Well, I did see it, but I was also in the depths of a very heavy drinking addiction. So it was hard for me to kind of see it because I was entangled in my own mess. I think he became the guy who could never just have one drink. It was definitely all or nothing. And when he got drunk, he would act like such an idiot. He would do all these crazy stunts, and you couldn't have a sensible conversation with him. And I'd say to him now and again, like, hey man, maybe you want to lay off it a little bit. And he did go through a stage where he wouldn't drink on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But on the Wednesdays and Fridays, he would call them missed unit days. So he'd have to drink double to make up for those days where he took the time off. I think it really came to a head of how ill he was when he started turning yellow. Jaundice was starting to set in. And on days where he would maybe not have enough money for a drink or run out before he could get to the shop, he would start having fits and blacking out. So he'd have like full-on fits on the floor and end up in hospital, and they would say it's because of the lack of alcohol in his system. And he would never take that as a warning. He would just leave the hospital and he would just go straight to the off licence and get more booze. And I noticed that there was a massive decline in his mental faculties. So he's going yellow, having fits, his mind was going funny. And then one day he went to the doctors, and the doctor got him some emergency blood tests when he saw the state that he was in. And they came back the next day. And then he said to Lewis, you need to get to the hospital now. I'm going to call you an ambulance. You are dying right here in front of me. And Lewis, being the guy that he is, said, it's all right, I'll get the bus. Save the ambulance for someone who needs it more. So he got on the bus, got to hospital. They checked him in, and he had to have a catheter put in straight away. Basically his whole body was failing him, and the consultants came round and they said, you're the sickest person in this hospital. Out of everyone here, you are the illest person we have. And I think then it might have sunk into him, as the last time I saw him was in that hospital bed. A good friend of mine took me, and I nearly didn't go, because I didn't realise the seriousness of it, because I was drunk as well. But he made me go, and I always thank him for that. And I spoke to Lewis, and we had one last cuddle, but I didn't see it as a last cuddle. I thought it was just, okay, I'll see you in a bit. When you get out, let's stop drinking. And I think he might have entertained that idea then, but I wasn't too sure. So we left, and then I got a call a few days later saying he'd been taken to a nearby hospital for a liver transplant, as it was very urgent now and he needed one. So they took him, and as they were operating on him, the surgeon said, we can't save him. His whole body has shut down. Everything in his body is completely gone. His kidneys, his liver, his other organs, everything was dying. And I think he was on life support machine at the time. By then, the doctor said there's nothing more we can do for him. So my dad had to make the decision. And then he called me, and I agreed. I said, okay. So me and my dad made the decision, and then that was it. He passed away at 25. That's the dangers of alcohol. We had a funeral for him. Knowing my brother, we had quite a good party for him. But it was Lewis's passing that made me finally say to myself that I need to give up and sort myself out with the help of a brother of mine. And I finally done it, but I'll talk about that in another video. I think one of the hardest parts as well is that knowing he was in pain and that he maybe had to keep drinking. He was numbing something, maybe from his abuse as a child, from childhood, with my mum being an alcoholic and stuff. But the way he was like a closed book, and it was his way or the highway. You just couldn't get through to him. We all tried so hard, but it was so difficult. And it's a battle he lost, unfortunately. A few things about Lou that were very positive. He was a brilliant skateboarder. He was an amazing skateboarder. And he had so much potential, but he threw that away because of booze. He was a good poet. He wrote good poetry when he was younger. And he wrote good essays, and he was good at stuff like that, good at writing. All in all, it's just a complete waste of a life. Never really saw it coming. Anyway, that's the story of my brother Lou. Alcohol's a very dangerous thing. You need to be careful. Thanks for listening.